Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to deliver your October 2016 general readings. I hope everyone had a wonderful September, or at least a productive one. I am recording the October generals in the last few days of September using the Gilded Tarot by artist Cyril Marchetti. I absolutely adore his artwork. And I'm using the traditional 9 card spread that I typically use. 8 cards, 2 for each week, with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card, representing overall energy and general advice for the reading. Thank you to those of you who are continuing to watch and listen and subscribe to this channel, and welcome to those of you who are new here. It looks like the family is just about at 11,000 now. Thank you so much for your support and feedback and encouragement. Couldn't do it without you. And in fact, of course, you are the reason that I do it. So thank you very much for that and all your continued comments. I always get a lot on the YouTube channel video comment section, but I find that as the months go on, I'm getting more and more messages via email with descriptions of how the readings play out and resonate for you in your lives, and I appreciate those so much. I bring that up because I read an email from one of my lovely subscribers yesterday that actually gave me a little bit of an insight into a card that I hadn't actually kind of noticed before. And it's just amazing and wonderful to me that even after 25, 26 years of doing this, we continue to learn and grow around the tarot because it's so complex. And I anticipate doing that until I transition into the next slide. So thank you very much for that. You guys teach me as much as I could possibly teach you, so my gratitude. And always, of course, a special thank you to those of you who reach out for one-on-one personal readings, which are my favorite things to do. It's an honor and a pleasure, as I always say, to read for you, and I am always grateful for the trust that you place in me to interpret and intuit the cards for you. And thank you to my regular clients, of course, that I work with on a continual basis, and for the feedback that you guys are so great at giving and updates as well. I love getting updates for you guys. Thank you so much. And if there are any of you who are interested in a personal one-on-one reading and have not read with me before, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more information and detail on myself, the services I offer, and my contact information, and my email address, which is Maggie, the number 1, McGuire@gmail.com. If you're interested, send me an email and I would be delighted to work with you. I'm always asked about turnaround time, and currently it can be anywhere from a couple of days up until 10 to 14 days. Almost always within 2 weeks, we can schedule a reading for you. I do readings full time, so I'm pretty good at getting back with you quickly and setting up a reading within a pretty reasonable time frame. So, make sure to check your rising and your moon sign as well. If this is your primary sun sign, this is for Leo. It may or may not resonate with you. And if you're like me, you may find that each of your signs, sun, moon, and rising, may play out for you in different areas of your life, like public and job, personal relationships, spirituality matters. I find that when I watch all 3, each of them applies, but just to different areas of my life. So if you watch all 3, you have more information and are able to put together more of a cohesive picture on the time span ahead that the reading covers. So enough of all that talk, which you guys are always probably tired of hearing video after video for those of you who follow. So let's move right into this reading. This is for Leo for October 2016. Leo, October 2016. My lovely, lovely Leos. Feisty, fiery, fire sign Leos. What does the month of October hold for you as fall is approaching us here? Well, for some of you watching, you're in a different part of the hemisphere and it is not fall. For some of you, it's actually spring. Whatever season it is for you, let us see what October holds for the fire sign of Leo. God, Spirit, Angels, Guide, show me the energies for the fire sign of Leo for October 2016. Leo, October 2016. What does the month of October hold for Leos? What do they need to see? What do they need to know for October 2016? Okay. Okay, Leo. We begin with the Page of Swords, followed by the Two of Wands, the Nine of Cups, followed by the Hierophant, the Star card, followed by the Six of Cups, Judgment, followed by the Ten of Cups, and from the bottom of the deck, your crowning card. Oh, you got two crowning cards, Leo, and the second one absolutely flipped right out of there. Ace of Wands and the Magician. I feel like they both belong together. So you're going to have two crowning cards representing overall energy and advice for October 2016, Leo. Let's just take a quick look at this before we start. Okay. Sorry, Leo. Sometimes when the messages come in, they come in quite quickly, and it's kind of like listening to more than one person at once, and I have to separate them and then put them back together in a cohesive picture without appearing to be too mentally unstable at the same time. So let's begin. So we find ourselves at the beginning of October 2016, Leo, with the Page of Swords, followed by the Two of Wands. So the Page of Swords. Swords is a suit governed by the element of air. It's all about words and ideas. It's a very mental, cerebral, intellectual energy and suit, and it's about how we look at things, how we see things, our belief systems, perceptions, perspectives. It's basically about how we think and how we see things and where we actually stick it in our head. It's not a suit that has a lot of emotion attached to it. It's fairly emotionally impartial. It's basically about what goes on up in between our two ears here. Now, pages represent, pages are the youngest and least mature energies of the court cards in the tarot. They can also represent messages and messengers being at the beginning of an understanding or an awareness of something. And they can also represent a challenge. As it's swords, it can represent a challenge or a conflict that we're facing, which is actually what I'm getting for you. It feels like, Leo, at the beginning of October 2016, and possibly as I'm recording these videos in the last few days of September, it's a situation which could have started now. I feel like you're in a situation, or you're faced with a situation where it feels kind of like your perspective is that your happiness is at stake, and that happiness has something to do with home and family. Kind of I'm looking at this Ten of Cups and Judgment at the very end here. You know, kind of a combination of contentment and feeling like everything is just absolutely wonderful, emotional cups being full. I almost feel like I ought to start at the end and work my way back. I feel like the situation has to do with what you view as your complete happiness and joy in kind of your home life, love life. The Page of Swords can sometimes represent being faced with a decision where what you choose to do and what you decide will actually lay the framework in a sense of personal honor and integrity, meaning a situation. Swords is a suit that's about words and ideas and ideals, and of course honor and integrity are the highest ideals that we aspire to and that we achieve to. And the Page of Swords, I feel for you this month, Leo, represents a situation where you have perhaps you're faced with some decisions, some options, and it feels like there's a bit of a temptation to create something that may not be The temptation is to do something that you feel is not acting with the highest personal honor and integrity. And it feels like you're kind of caught in sort of a crossroads energy of, I want to do this. It feels like if you take the road that doesn't quite uphold to your own sense of honor and integrity, you're doing it because you feel like it's going to ensure success and happiness somewhere in your home, relationship, love life, or a combination of all of those. And the place that you find yourself is kind of, do I kind of walk this path, or do what I personally know to be to uphold my own honor and standards of honor and integrity and honesty in this situation, and take the chance that maybe it's not going to go exactly the way that I want? Or do I make the decision to do this, which is not quite upholding my own personal sense of honor and integrity, but I feel like is going to put me closer or ensure my happiness in this area? I feel like this is very specifically oriented, so this may not resonate for, well, of course, it's not going to resonate for all of you, because our family is like 11,000 strong now, and how could it possibly resonate for everyone? But for those of you for whom it does resonate, this card, of course, the advice to this card and the advice coming from the universe would be always to take the high road, always to make whatever decisions, however you proceed through this, stick to what you know to be right, to be true, to have as much honor and integrity as possible. Because in the end, in terms of karma, that's exactly what you're going to get back. Now, the Page of Swords is paired with the Two of Wands, and again, it's this energy that you feel yourself at. You're at a crossroads with something, and I feel like it's about how you. Of course, it's going to play out specifically differently, even for those of you who resonate. And I always rely on your feedback as to how the specifics of it go. But the underlying energy and message is the same. You're going forward in something, and what you're hoping for and what you're striving for is this Ten of Cups, is all the puzzle pieces coming together, feeling like everything is just, I don't really like to say perfect, but that you're at a place where everything is just wonderful, and there's just a sense of fulfillment and emotional contentment in the area of your life that deals with home and love and family relationships, or something all of the above, a relationship, perhaps about building a home family unit together. And the temptation is the where you find yourself is not whether I go forward this way. You're moving forward. It's about how you proceed. It feels like you're in a specific situation where you have an opportunity to perhaps move yourself closer to your goals, or ensure your goals by doing something that doesn't exactly hold to what you view as your own personal sense of honor and integrity. So it feels like there's a bit of a moral dilemma and wrestle at the end of September, beginning of October. How that plays out for you specifically, you'll have to let me know. But for those of you for whom needs to hear that message, that's the message. So right next to that, we have the Nine of Cups, followed by the Hierophant. You know, it's really interesting because the feeling that I get, Leo, in this reading is that it feels like you're really close to your goal, or what you want, what you've hoped for. Something that you hold very dear is close to you, and it feels like you're almost at the finish line, and there's a sense of wanting to move forward. And what you want is actually where your joy and your happiness is actually within a fairly conventional bounds, because this Nine of Cups is paired with the Hierophant card. Now, the Nine of Cups, you have the Nine and Ten of Cups both in this reading. The Nine of Cups is also, it's a card of abundance. It is often referred to as the wish fulfillment card, the having your dreams come true, having what you want. and actually having more than enough and overflowing of your cups in the emotional sense, because it's cups. Cups is a suit that's governed by the element of water, and it's all about that watery fluid world of feelings, emotions, relationships, love, that area of your life. In other tarot decks, I've seen this man portrayed as being very kind of rotund and portly. The implication being that he has more than enough to eat, more than enough to drink, not only enough for himself, but he has enough to fill all these other cups and share them with family, friends, whoever's around. It's a card of abundance. It's not quite, there is a more visceral, earthly, a sensual feeling to this sense of happiness of getting what you want, which is not to say that it's bad at all, but it's more rooted in a decadent, sensual sort of fulfillment, as opposed to its higher counterpart, the Ten of Cups, which is complete emotional fulfillment. It's a beautiful card. It's a card of getting what you want, but it's not necessarily a spiritual card as well. But it's a card of your cups overflowing, having what you want, having everything that you want. And for you, I feel like it's either close or you're seeing it as very close. And the picture itself feels really lovely, almost storybook-like. That Nine of Cups is paired with the Hierophant Major Arcana card. This is a card of convention, tradition. It can represent higher learning, organized religions, corporations, institutions. But it's about convention, tradition, in the love and relationship sector of your life. For those of you for whom this reading resonates in that area, it's about, it can represent the marriage card, taking a relationship from wherever it is to the next committed level, whatever that represents for you. Meeting the families, getting engaged, moving in with each other, uh, the actual marriage, etc., building a home and a life together, which I think for a lot of you is in a large part. I mean, you can apply these same energies to, job and career, but I'm not getting any kind of Pentacles energy or career energy kind of oriented that way. It feels like it's more, for a lot of you Leos watching, relationships, home, that area of your life. And it feels very conventional, traditional, almost white picket fence, Norman Rockwell-ish. And for those of you who lead alternative lifestyles or have alternative relationships, the same energy applies. It's whatever you see as like your ultimate white picket fence kind of dream. And I feel quite strongly that it's got something to do with home and family and building a home and family. And it feels very close, or that you see it as being very close. And it feels like you're in a situation where you're tempted to do something to get you there quicker or to 100% ensure it, but that might not fall within what you feel is entirely moral or ethical. It feels like there's a little bit of a temptation to veer off your own moral path. I'm not sure why. It feels very specific. Somebody out there needs to hear it. But your happiness, it's like you have, and I suppose the cautionary advice that I'm feeling too is it feels like, okay, if I just have this, I'll be completely happy. That's all that I want. Like all of your eggs are kind of riding in this basket. And as understandable as that is, the cautionary advice would be to make sure that what you want is actually what you want, and that it's worth continuing forward on the path. Now, right next to that, we have the Star card, beautiful card, hope and faith, paired with the Six of Cups. So the Star card, this is the card of hope and faith. It's about hope and faith. If I had to attach just two words to that card, that's what it is. It's about having hope and faith that in your dream, in what you want, in the path laid out in front of you, even if the path is not clear, even if you're at a point where it's like, well, you still have doubts and fears about whether or not this dream that you want, perhaps that you've been working for some time or waiting to manifest for some time. Sometimes we get frustrated, we get tired, we get discouraged. If you've been waiting for a long time, it's hard sometimes to keep up this energy, this hope and faith card, to just have this faith, even if you can't see it playing out in front of you. And I feel like for a lot of you that are watching that resonate with this kind of moral dilemma, a situation, whatever this is for you specifically, really what it is when we lose hope and faith, or when that falters a bit, that's when we're tempted to kind of take matters into our own hands, not pay attention to divine timing, divine orchestration, and that there's a process at which this is meant to play out, and kind of do something that falls outside of our own ethical path, because we lose hope and faith, or we lose sight of that. It's hard sometimes, especially if this is something you've been waiting for a long time, to continue or working for a long time, to continue having hope and faith in divine timing and orchestration. But that's what this card represents. It's a major arcana card too, those significant, profound messages and advice. This woman is emptying herself out. She is completely emptying her pitchers of water into this lake in perfect faith and perfect confidence that her pitchers will be refilled, because the source is limitless. She knows she's going to be taken care of as long as she keeps walking the path in front of her, step by step, and doing the things she knows to do. She trusts in divine timing, divine orchestration, that everything is playing out as it's meant to, and happiness and joy is hers, that's on the path, that's meant for her. And she trusts in God's spirit, the universe, your angels and guides. She trusts in that to lead her. So it's about having hope and faith, and continued hope and faith, when, especially if you're at a place, Leo, where you've been waiting for something for a long time, working, wanting, hoping for this beautiful thing that's so near and dear to your heart, love, home, family. It feels like it's close, or you can see it, it's within sight, and it feels like you may be tempted to, you know, continue that hope and faith. You want to take matters into your own hands and do something to either make it go quicker, or absolutely ensure it if there's some doubts and fears. And what you're tempted to do is kind of off your own regular moral path. So cautionary advice there. Do what you have been doing. Do what you know to be right for you. Now that star card is paired with the Six of Cups. Hope and faith in what? Well, divine timing and orchestration, but also it has something to do with the past. Now, here's where the story can split off a few different ways for those of you watching. So the Six of Cups is a card about the past, basically. It's a card of reminiscence, nostalgia, looking back. It can represent also travel. The sixes can represent travel. It can represent travel back to see parents, to see relatives, the place where you grew up, family home, something like that. For some of you, this can represent something or someone from the past coming back, attached to the hope and faith card. Something, it's either something or someone from the past showing up in the month of October, and there's something with it, something about them that renews or sustains your sense of hope and faith in this dream that you have. And it could be that, not dream, that maybe a dream I'm getting, because for some of you, I feel like some of you, you've been waiting and working and wanting for such a long time, it almost feels like a dream for you. It can also represent this thing being a long-standing thing coming from your past. And by past, it doesn't necessarily mean childhood past, that long ago, but it has been a significant period of time. There's something in the month of October 2016 that either comes up from your past that renews or sustains your hope and faith, or it's just renewing and sustaining your hope and faith about the past, actually what you've wanted from the past coming to fruition. And I know that sounds odd. I'm not exactly sure how to word it the correct way, but I feel like this thing that you want, that you see is finally close, has been there for a long time. You've been wanting it, waiting for it, working for it for a long time, and now that it's close, it actually feels now that it's close, some of you are actually still struggling with that hope and faith, or having this almost irrational fear that it's going to be taken away from you at the last minute. And this combination of cards, I feel, in a couple of different ways, that it's the universe reminding you, look, it's been playing out, you need to continue to trust in us, to trust in divine timing and orchestration. It's going to be okay. That past is actually coming present, and there's a sense of fruition coming, I feel, in the next chapter. For some of you, this is going to represent something or someone actually coming from the past, but it's actually a beautiful thing, because I feel like whatever it is or whoever it is, maybe they say something or you connect again, and it renews and sustains your sense of hope and faith. Again, it's going to split off differently, but the message is still the same. Hope and faith in divine timing and orchestration. Has been and is going to continue playing out the way that it needs to be. Don't jump the gun now because it feels like you're almost there. I feel like this is coming to fruition. I actually don't feel like it's for a lot of you, I don't feel like it's going to come to complete fruition in October, but I feel like probably November. I feel like it's that close. It's somewhere within this next time frame of 1 to 2 months. But it feels like you're so close to the end that all of a sudden you've gotten hit with this. I want to say it's almost an irrational fear or something that's caused you some last minute hopes and insecurities, and you're tempted to do something you wouldn't normally do because of that. And I think the universe is coming in. I feel like the universe is coming in strongly and going, well, hang on, relax. You've done great so far. Just continue the way that you've done. We've got this. It's already worked out. It's just a question of continuing to walk the steps. You're very, very close. Now, at or towards the end of October 2016, and again, I feel like that star past Six of Cups combination is coming in around the middle to the third week of the month. So just be kind of vigilant about anything that comes up that makes you, kind of fall back into doubts and insecurities and fear and want to take things into your own hands in a way that you know isn't right. So at or towards the end of October 2016, we have Judgment paired with the Ten of Cups. Pretty interesting combination, actually. You've had a pretty interesting reading so far, Leo. So, Judgment. Major Arcana card. I don't always feel an air of seriousness about the Judgment card, not in a scary or negative way, but more like cautionary advice. The Judgment card is a call to action. In purely legal or business matters or contract negotiations, in the upright position, it does represent, it does often represent things working out in your favor, decisions working out in your favor, outcomes working out in your favor, contracts working out in your favor. It's a call to action, but it's a call to careful action. The energy of the Judgment card is asking you to be very, it's almost echoing the message of the beginning of the month with that Page of Swords and Two of Wands. It feels like as close as you are to achieving your goal, whatever that is, but it's something about home, family, love, all of the above. You're close to it. You're so close that I feel like you're tempted to do something that you wouldn't normally do, and that it's almost a moral or ethical dilemma to hurry things up or to achieve and ensure what you see as absolute success. The Judgment card has a cautionary bit of advice attached to it. Whatever decisions you make, whatever choices you make, whatever actions you take, whatever you set into motion is going to set the stage for quite some time to come, particularly when it comes to your character, your own personal sense of honor and integrity. It says to carefully consider before you go spontaneously or impulsively into something, not only to make sure that to check in with yourself that this is truly what you want, that this is truly where your heart lies, but make sure that you don't veer off the path of the moral and ethical foundation that you've already set for yourself, because this is a card that says whatever you set in motion, you're not going to be able to undo. And if it's a path that you veer off of, that you make a decision that goes against what you know to be moral and ethical, and upholding your own integrity, that it's going to set you down a path where it's going to be easier for you to do similar things after this. And again, this feels very specifically oriented. So for those of you for whom this reading resonates, I'm curious, please message me privately and let me know how this plays out, because it feels very specific. Whatever this moral dilemma is, there's a very strong cautionary advice at the end of the month, and it feels like there was in the beginning of the month. Do what you know to be the best and the right thing. It is always the best path to take, always the best path to take, because even if you do something that doesn't stay within your own moral and ethical foundations, and it does achieve something for you that you weren't sure if you could get otherwise, or makes it quicker, it will come back. It's just the law of balance and karma, just like gravity. So do what you know to be right for you, that what you already have been doing. And it feels like, for those of you for whom are facing a moral dilemma, it just feels like it's come up because you're so close, and it's almost as if you're just um, it's like, I've been waiting so long, you can't wait another minute, but just hang on, just keep doing what you've been doing. You're almost there. I think we're almost at the final chapter, and it is about your ultimate happiness, because that Judgment card is paired with the Ten of Cups. Cups, again, being that suit of emotions, feelings, relationships, love. This is where it all comes together for you, Leo. You can see this beautiful rainbow of cups: emotional fulfillment, emotional contentment, where all the puzzle pieces come together, where you're finally at home, and it feels like, I mean, you can describe it a lot of different ways. Sometimes this card is referred to as the happy home card, the happily ever after card. It's just, the energy is just being at that place in your life where everything feels really good, everything feels really right, everything has finally come together at the end of the day. And the artist depicted this as if it were what he were coming home to at the end of the day. It's been this long day, and here's, wife and child, and the beautiful, lovely, cozy home cottage. Not a 15-bedroom mansion. This is home. This is the place where you can kick off your shoes, put your feet up. There's probably a dog laying in front of the fireplace and some yummy thing bubbling away on the stove. This is just where it all comes together. This is just where everything feels right, everything in its place, and all your emotional cups are filled. It's a beautiful place to be. Be careful about how you go about achieving that. It feels like you've done a phenomenal job in working for it, waiting for it, hoping for it, and that you've done it with as much honor and integrity as you can, even when you've been tempted otherwise. It feels like some of you may be facing one last bit of moral dilemma or temptation to take matters into your own hands in a way that isn't right for you, and you would know it. So just be vigilant against that this month, Leo. Your crowning cards, and you got two, because you got the Ace of Wands and the Magician, and I'm telling you, the Magician actually did almost a somersault coming out with the Ace of Wands. He obviously wanted to be here, which is very like the Magician, really. Wow, this is turning out to be one of the longer readings for this next month. So the Ace of Wands and the Magician. Ace of Wands. Wands is that suit that's governed by fire. It's a very active suit because it's governed by fire. It's active, action-oriented, fluid. It's all about change, movement, action, power. The suit of Wands is that creating, manifesting, building kind of power. It can refer to careers, projects, but it's very enthusiastic, fiery, passionate. It's not a passive suit. And aces represent beginnings. They're the ones. They represent potential, seeds of an initial beautiful thing, which has a lot of potential to grow into something absolutely wonderful. And with the Ace of Wands, because of fire, this is an exciting, beautiful new beginning potential. But it's a seed. So remember that whatever is contained in that seed, whether it has, it's meant to be a beautiful rose bush or an apple tree or whatever it is, seeds won't ever turn into anything if you don't plant them, water them, fertilize them, nurture them, prune them, do what you have to do so that they can grow to their beautiful, full manifestation of what they're intended to be. Otherwise, this Ace of Wands will just, or if you make a decision too that isn't morally right, that could potentially ruin all the work you put into it so far, this could just fizzle out into nothing. So remember that about aces. They are beautiful and wonderful, but they are potential. They're at the very beginning. So overall, I feel like it's really close, Leo. Whatever it is, it's really close. And it has the potential to flower into something absolutely beautiful. But it's all about, there's divine timing and orchestration, but the Magician says that a lot of it is, I mean, it's in your hands. You have the choice. Again, it feels like there's this choice. It's almost as if there's some temptation that's been dangled in front of you to do something to hurry it up, but that something is not quite right. You can do it if you choose to. I mean, that's one of the things the Magician does. the magician has reached a point in his life where he can pretty much create, build, manifest whatever he wants to. He's can sometimes be a bit of a trickster because he's a magician. He's the master of illusion. But in the upright position, a really intelligent, creative guy. He's walked a long road of life. He's practiced. He's experienced. He's learned from trial and error. He's at the place in his life now where he has all the tools, all the practice, all the knowledge, all the experience. He can create whatever he wants to create, manifest whatever he wants to manifest, build whatever he wants to build. It's within his power. It's within your power, Leo. But I feel like this is directly related to whatever the situation is, this moral dilemma you find yourself in. Take the high road, Leo. Do what you know to be right. You are a beautiful, lovely, fiery, fixed sign, and you know what that is. So manifest these energies. You already have them anyway, because I think it's going to ensure how this plays out in the end, in the long run. So if you do something you know not to be right, it may ensure you success or something quicker sooner, but it's going to come back and bite you some way. So just avoid it altogether by doing what you know to be right. You've got this one, Leo. You really do. Let it play out. You're really, really close. I feel like it's right before the final chapter here. For some of you, whatever this is could come to fruition in October or begin to, but I feel like it's just playing out. But you're really, really close to whatever this beautiful relationship, love, home, family thing that you've been waiting for, working for such a long time. Don't veer off the road now. It's going to be just fine. So Leo, that represents the end of your reading for October 2016. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you have found it useful. I hope that at least it hasn't confused you too much. And thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the October 2016 mid-month readings. And as always, if any of you are interested in a personal reading, you can click on the little about sign on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information. And you can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Have a fabulous October, Leo, and I will see you in a couple of weeks for the mid-months. As always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.